Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
For the greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. Cecilia, what a story. Reactions trailing the Golden Eaglets exit from the CAF on the 17th AFCON. And end of the road in the competition. No FIFA World Cup. Time for us to reflect.
Yeah, we always have to do that. You know, sometimes a talent is not just enough. I would say the Golden Eaglets were lucky. They played a very good game, but somehow it just didn't happen for them. But then you have three countries from West Africa going to the World Cup this year: Mali, Senegal, Morocco already there, and of course, Burkina Faso. Oh, good news. All right, on the show tonight, we'll be talking about that, just details, analyzing what happened to the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria and how well we can actually help to grow the game of football from the grassroots level and start winning medals from it as we used to do. And also, we'll talk about MMA, of course, in Nigeria. I mean, Kamaru Usman, when he came to Nigeria the first time, he says he wants to have homegrown talent born, bred here. And of course, from here, they go over there to be able to fight the world best. Of course, the championship started today. So we'll talk about what happened yesterday, heralding the fight night tonight. Also, touchdown on the English Premier League. Yes, business end of the games. Arsenal, Man City, features, we'll talk about that. And touchdown on the Federation Cup. We'll bring you all the teams that are into the round of 16 for the men, of course, quarterfinals for the women, the fixtures. We all have the here on the program tonight. Of course, we'll talk about the World University Games. It's going to be taking place in Chengdu in China in July. Of course, the trials was held in Benin City this week. And of course, we'll focus on the athletics and of course the players that will be going, the athletes that will be representing Nigeria. The list will be out soon, but then we've got a couple of things for you on the show tonight. So Austin, I believe, is a full package tonight.
Cecilia, you know what it is. It's always an action-packed sort of sports. And I see on the rundown, we will touch base with the grassroots. We'll take it up to mixed martial arts. We'll talk about the English Premier League, interesting fixtures this weekend. We'll talk about way forward for, grassroots football development. The Golden Eaglets are out now and people are crying. But what did we not do right? Those questions that we have refused to answer keeps haunting us. So we'll talk about it tonight on the program, and I'm definitely pumped up for this. I know we're going to have so much fun talking sports tonight.
Yeah, we'll be having so much fun. Of course, we'll not be doing all the talking alone. It's a Friday, and Shegun Vincent is right here in the studio. Shegun, it's good to have you join us again.
It's good to be back here on the show on the Friday edition with you and Austin Pan, and then hopefully we're going to have a great show tonight. All
right. Okay, let's start off with the World University Games, the trials that was actually held in Benin City, Edo State, started on the 8th and, of course, ended 11th. Just yesterday, ending with the track and field events, of course. When you're talking about multi-sport, it's usually the king of it because, just remove football. At the Olympics, for instance, everybody's waiting for the track and field events. Yeah. And of course, that's usually the. But then, when it ended yesterday, talking about the World University Games trials, that's where athletes that will be representing Nigeria, where they will be selected from. So they had to go through trials in Benin City, Edo State. So the Nigeria University Games Association, talking about NUGA, successfully concluded their trials, which was a 3-day event, 8th to 11th, as I mentioned earlier. Nigerian students from all universities across the countries, they took part in that. Athletics, track and field, badminton, you have judo, swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, and of course tennis, trying as much as possible to be the one that represents Nigeria at the world stage. Most of us didn't have the opportunity to go to World University Games because when it's coming up, the next thing you hear that some athletes are going. You don't see trials like this. Yeah. I think what NUGA is doing is trying to bring it to everyone to understand, yes, we are working, we are doing something good, and we are involving everyone, just putting it out there, because without publicity, obviously, whatever you're doing, it's just in shadows.
Yeah, publicity is very important, and they're trying to create a system of transparency and integrity with which that the athletes or every athlete that's planning to go over scrutiny like in a positive way. Like we are aware of how they have been selected, the process they go through after winning the Nuga. Okay, what are the processes?
Yeah.
Who are the people we're coming against? And these are very, very integral sports, like of swimming, athletics, table tennis. We're going to contest against the best of the best. I remember going through. I think China at some point in time. I think in particular Olympics, they fielded under 13 or under 14, and they prevented them from participating in the Olympics. That's to tell you that since these people are coming against, we're coming up against the best of the best,
yeah.
and they're not even in our same age category. So that means I have to prepare 2 times harder than the average athlete.
Yeah.
And certain sports are more successful than like sports like table tennis. The Japans of this world, they know how to Koreans and so on, they know how to play that sport. And I believe that things like athletics, we have had some high level of esteem of athletes coming from Nigeria at the Nuga level. I think Nuga and some other sports. And I believe that we have the necessary materials, the media attention that can enable these athletes to go through a certain level of competition so that we can get the best of the best of the best, as the case may be, to play a final for the national championship coming up in China so later on in the year. So I believe that with this level of 1 or 2, and of course, the more they do these things, the more they get better, more level of, okay, look at, come back at it and look at with the mistakes they've made, where they can do better. But the most important thing right now is level of transparency, level of integrity, level of media attention they're going to get. And now what they should look at more is get more viewing, how they can push it out, how they can make it more open, and they can see how it's more transparent. People can see it on 3D, if I can use that word. So on 3D, but I believe that this is a step in that direction from Nuga, and of course, we need to get more sponsors. We need to get sponsors because it's very important because, like they say, man was whack.
Yeah, I think sport ministry is obviously supporting it in the best way that they can. Austin, I mean, some names actually, came to mind while the trials was going on according to Nuga. They have Asemuta Marvelous from Benson Dausa University in the 100 meters. You also had Musa Kola from University of Ilorin. These guys actually impressed in the 100 meters. So these are names that we need to be aware of because when the Olympics is coming, after the Nuga Games, Olympics is next year, there are some athletes you can feel, okay, maybe they can actually, translate what they've done in China to maybe make it into the Olympic teams. Who knows what can happen?
Yes, Cecilia, and it's sweeter because we know these guys are in school, we know they're educated, and we know what happens when we combine sports and education. It gives us superstars, So I like it. Aside Asemota and the other names that have been discovered, shout out to everyone that came out to compete in these 3-day trials, And for them to go to the World University is something good for Nigeria. Shows us that if we have a proper structure for the grassroots, we can actually have talents that will start monitoring from the primary school level up to the university level. You see the US collegiate games and you wonder how they put that together. And if I start now, some people will say, Austin, you have come again. I see this 3-day trial and I'm struggling to see branding for the Nuga Games because this is happening at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. Look at the hurdles. Carrying 2020 National Sports Festival. And these are the little things, little details that shows seriousness, that shows we want to make a change. All of these little things just tells you that we are still using the wrong people to chase the right result. So at the end of the day, they will say, oh, we got to do the trials. Athletes came out, they competed, and we have to represent Nigeria. But how about those little details that makes it look good, that shows that we're serious about what we're doing, that can actually attract sponsorship into whatever they're doing? We need to make these changes. That's how you win.
Right there. I mean, when you have brandies, when you have sponsors, and they all have to, facilities is key. When I was talking to the acting secretary of Nuga, she was saying something about they went to Edo State because they know they have the facilities. They still have it. So, I mean, that was key there. If you have a kind of a sports center, something like O2 Arena, a sports center where you can actually go there, you have every facility is ready. They wouldn't be looking for any states states that have the facilities to host. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, that's why you have that Edo Sports Festival. I'm happy that they've been able to maintain it. I mean, Austin, when we talk about maintenance, right here on this program. I mean, yes, Sports Festival was 2 years ago, but then you still have those facilities, I mean, well maintained. So Nuga could easily go to Edo State and say, you know what, we want to use your facilities. We saw it at the sport festival and we know it's still ready. And they were able to use all the facilities. I mean, they don't have to look for a venue, and that's key right there. Maybe as you mentioned.
So shout out, Cecilia, shout out to the Edo State government, because I remember when we spoke to Philip Shaibu, he said maintenance will not be a problem. And for us to be seeing some of those facilities still used, then it shows that they're actually maintaining them. But I'm talking about the organizers, Nuga themselves, you know, what sort of attention did they give to this trial, or even the Nuga games itself? Because simple branding, I struggle to even see banners carrying these 3 days trials at the stadium, you know. So this is what I'm talking about. That pimp it up, you know, make it look good.
Yeah, you're right. I think they need to do that. Of course, maybe the funds will be released to them much later. I believe the sport ministry know what to do to ensure that, yes, because we are talking about higher institution, tertiary institution. It's not secondary school. These are university students. So, I mean, it's supposed to be a bigger event.
They should come speak to us at Channels TV when we organize the Channels International Kids Cup. This is how we do it. So this is what I'm talking about. Give it class, you know.
Of course, it's necessary. All right, let's leave it. Of course, it's going to be starting July 28th. That's when he's starting in China. And of course, they've said that the list will be out soon. So we need to see these athletes that will be representing Nigeria at the games. All right, let's switch over to MMA, Austin. I mean, when Kamaru Usman, as you mentioned, I mean, when he came to Nigeria the first time, I mean, he said, look, he wants to have something special. So right now, his pet project, African Knockout Championship, you know, started. And now you're having All Africa Championship. About 14 African countries are here. They intend to take it up to 25 next year. You have about 28 fighters competing. It started today. The fight night is tonight. But when you have these, you know, warriors, so to speak, you know, trying to, converge in Lagos for that inaugural Africa Championship, this is something big that we'll be expecting, especially in Lagos. At times you feel, where are they going to have it? But somehow it's happening. And of course, this night, some of the fights already on, and these guys will be battling against each other. I think the whole idea of this is the fact that you can have fighters that have been groomed home and also abroad. Let's just, take a listen, what they had to say. And when we come, of course, we'll have to understand what this is all about and why we are having All Africa Championship, where you have countries, about 14 countries from across Africa are taking part in an event like this.
What I would do differently? It's not what I would tell you, but I know what I would do differently. And you will see, I believe in this saying that is, don't tell them your plan, just show them. I'm going to show everyone my plans.
The thing is that I'm a better fighter. I'm not the greater fighter, but I'm a better fighter at this my weight position, at this my weight class. So I've trained both ground and standing work. And I've really, done a lot of sparring that shows me that I'm good to go.
We're starting this first edition and this first season of 5 events. We have 3 regular season events, semi-final and finals, where we'll crown the first African MMA champions. And starting from next year, we're going to expand, having more events and adding more divisions.
One of the main issues the sport faces in Africa in general is the lack of platforms that showcases African talent to the world. And this is why you can't see many African talents, right? Even the talents that you see, you'll see that they have migrated from Africa at some point. That's why they got chances to fight in big promotions. For us, we are a platform showcasing those talents, helping them to showcase themselves to the world. And then at some stage, if we were able to get them to reach the highest levels in the sport, this is actually an achievement for us. This is one of our goals.
An achievement from Nigeria to the world. That's what they're trying to put up here. I mean, this is something we just have to commend most times when it's happening in Nigeria. And of course, fighters from across Africa, born and brought up here, and showcase them.
Yeah, this is a step in the right direction from Usman, and of course, the sport development. MMA is not a big sport in Nigeria or in Africa. It's more popular in advanced countries. Not to say that we don't have minute levels of MMA. You know, we had, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we saw about flag football, non-contact American football. So we have a lot of couple of one or two here and there that but I think Kamal Usman, he grew up in Nigeria before going via his father. Father was a pharmacist. I went to America. He took his family abroad and then opened up the doors for him. And since then, it's more like a ministry. And what a way to come back to the somebody that to give back to the society than to come back to Nigeria and establish such a tournament. And of course, I know that in the coming years, it will become bigger. And it's a step in the right direction for other like the likes of Anthony Joshua, Israel, and a couple of other players, other people that have Nigerian origin that want to come back to Nigeria or to Africa at large to come and do such programs that can enable them to what they call to develop talent, develop the sport in the country, and of course uplift them, bring forth sporting brands, big time to get that brand engagement, popularity, and which will enable the talent to move to get get better, and of course be able to move to other countries as a case of getting better platforms so which today can be more exposed. I think this is a good, and it's not now it's not just only a Nigerian thing. It has allowed other countries from outside of Nigeria to be able to participate, which will also be like more technically like an African competition, which is a good step in the right direction. And I believe that one of the biggest problems we have in Africa is that we're not able to have certain level of continuity, in Nigeria, continuity. And I believe that looking at where it's coming from, I believe that I can instill that mentality in being continuous in pushing this program year in, year out, and which is one of the most important things because that's how we build the likes of academies in football year in, year out. So the level of continuity is something that we need to look at. The hunger, the fight. We've seen a lot of young people with whatever they said there. They are really invested. The passion is there. They really want to go into this sport, and I believe that sky's the limit for them because they have one of the best in the game that can enable them to do that. I think we had, I think John Fashion did a camp. I don't know if the camp is still running, but I believe that such kind of camps, especially such kind of sports that are not yet have not a mainstay in Nigeria. Mainstay in Nigeria is usually football, basketball, athletics, cricket. This is a new sport, and I believe that it's a change in the right dimension for us, and of course, a set dimension for us, and a new movement for the media because it is a sport that we can also be able to get financial backing from.
Austin, I mean, you have to come in this one because right now we're trying to get the first African and, of course, having young talent vying for that title.
Shout out to everyone involved with this project, the African Knockout series. And Kamaru Usman have said it that, look, one thing he can really do, not just Kamaru, Israel Adesanya, Super Sadiq, and anyone affiliated to Nigeria doing well with mixed martial arts, is to bring it back home. You know, gone are the days when people will say, oh, it's all about combat sports, it's fight, and so it's not good. You can use it to curb youth restiveness. You can use it to empower the youth. Now, look at the number of young persons that turned out for this fight night that we're going to be having tonight. That's a good way to get them busy, get them engaged. And in no time, they will be massive. Let's take the United Kingdom, for instance. British Nigerians are doing so well. Dan Aziz is a product of the street. Boxing has given him a new life. Richard Riakpo, Lawrence Okoli. I can go on and on and on, down to Deontay Wilder. These are persons that would have been terrible persons in the society, but sport gave them a way out. And each time I speak to administrators and they say, what can we do? I see use sports to empower lives, use sports to drag youths close to you. The Northeast, we're having issues. Go there. Think. Use different ways to engage them with sports. And that's what this AKO is already showing us. This is about fight. Now, if you go back and look at the story of Israel Adesanya, no mom or dad, we're not saying your children will go out there and start beating people, but nobody will say don't fight anymore. You know, if you can fight your way towards stardom, towards being a professional, then it's beautiful. And that's what I want to encourage. That's what we should encourage also back home in Nigeria. So shout out to the AKO, shout out to Kamaru Usman for getting involved with this, for being a motivation to the young ones and inspiring them with his story. Now, the ministry or whoever is involved with mixed martial arts in Nigeria, come closer. Find a way to key into the initiative, into this program, because it will get bigger if they keep it going. So I pray that it will be consistent and they will not derail from their objectives, Cecilia.
All right, time to talk about not so golden eaglets of Nigeria. They are out of the World Cup. All they needed to do was just, beat Burkina Faso and you get the tickets to the World Cup, where it just wasn't possible. So Nigeria is not part of the 4 countries that will be representing Africa because Burkina Faso ensured that happened. 2-1, they lost despite the dominance. But we will not be doing the analysis alone. We'll be talking to a coach in Switzerland, Anthony Adedeji. He's a football coach. He'll be talking to us on how well we can actually get this under 17 better. The plus I'm taking away from this under 17 team is because one, they're talented. Number two, the fact that most of the players, we're able to get players from the secondary school into the team. That is a plus. You don't need overage players to do this. So it's developmental. And so these players that have been taken, hopefully they can keep them together. So the next on the 23 Olympics, you don't have to start looking for players across the world. You have the bedrock right here. So these players also, in the next 2 years, you can have them actually, playing at the upper level. When we have Anthony Adedeji, he will join us from Switzerland to talk more about this. Let me go to Austin quickly on the, good evening. It's good to have you join us, Coach.
Good evening. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Quickly, a quick one. Your overall view about the Golden Eaglets performance right there in Algeria.
First and foremost, let me say it's a pathetic day for all fellow Nigerians and lovers of Nigerian football all over the world. I just want to say my overall view and assessment over the Golden Eaglet is all about the coaching input was not good enough. We have a good players, we have a good young boys that Induka Ogbade himself has fished out from every academy and secondary school in Nigeria, which he has done a very good job. But unfortunately, his tactical and technical input cost us this World Cup ticket because you can see how not so organized in the defense line that make us to concede so many goals that do not allow to be in the World Cup. But for me, I would say kudos to the boys because they give it all.
All right. I mean, you just mentioned maybe I'm thinking you just mentioned that the coach doesn't, the technical ability of the coach. That's what you're faulting for the loss against Burkina Faso. But if you look at the game critically, I mean, outside of them missing chances and that mishap, by Ogoji, and then Burkina Faso took advantage of that. They had several chances. What could he have done in that aspect to correct those mistakes, going into second half, and maybe if he had done some changes, getting the better of the boys, as you mentioned, they are well talented.
Okay, let me come as a coach perspective. Football is all about tactical discipline and technical discipline. As a coach, when you first thing you need to know very more in technical aspect of football is you have to have the eyes to read the game, to understand the weakness and strength of the opponent and your team also. That you can be able to help them to move in coordinative movements in the third half of the field. When you see what really happened in that game, you can see that the boys, they have individual quality, but collectively they lack something that they needed from the coach, the input from the coach. And that is why you see the anxiety and the anxious in them makes them to be playing faster than their capacity. And that is the input of the coach to tell them when to calm down, to organize them from the sideline, to make them to understand that they are going beyond the philosophy of the game plan. But when you listen to Ndugba Agbade in his interview, he said he has a boys that can fight for 90 minutes, that can run for 90 minutes. That means to say what the input he put in them is for them to go into the field, try to outrun your opponent with your strength, not the collective play. So that is the reason you saw him from the first match to yesterday, the fourth match. They stay in the same playing for information, which is playing 4-2-3-1, and it makes other coaches that have a good technical ability to study how you play, to outplay you. That is why you see our players, and we have that one problem I said before: the structure and the shape of the defense line. It is not well organized, and that cost us the 2 goals that we considered. If you watch out the match, the goals we considered against South Africa is the same thing from the defense line. So when you talk about the attacking players that is missing goal chances, that is where you have to let them to know that when you come to the penalty box, it is where you have to be more intelligent and use cleverness for you to score goals. So you don't have to put anxiety putting the ball in the back of the net. That's what cost us in that match yesterday, and all the match we have lost.
All right, let me go to London.
Coach
Austin's got
Anthony,
okay. Austin.
Yeah, let me get you talking. Let's reverse the situation. Let's assume that the Golden Eaglets defeated Burkina Faso and still in the competition. Would you say all these things that you're saying about Coach Nduka Ogbade?
Thank you very much. I'm going to say because for the first day when I came to Channel TV, I have an interview with you and your fellow colleague. I said something that Nduka Ogbade has the eyes to fish players because he's an academic coach. He has the eyes to fish players. But I said it. I can even send you the video behind the screen. I said it in the sport view in channels. I told them that what is going to affect Nduka Ogbade is tactical aspect of the game, because it's not a coach that is active in match day in, day out. A coach that is in match for day in, day out makes you to have an improvement of your mistake when you are doing your tactical input. But when you are not playing day in, day out, you don't know where you are lacking in the tactical aspect. So supposing they win, I still said it when they won. But I said that in an article, online article 2 days ago, on Monday, I said somebody should tell Igbade. I even sent it to the president of Nigeria Football Federation. I said the only thing that the team is lacking right now is the structure and shape in the defense line, that he have to improve that. And I expect him to do that because he was a defender during his playing days. He's supposed to know this, but I cannot understand when the time they're supposed to anticipate, they are going for tackling. When they have to go for tackle, they use tackling. And when they have to create depth, they forgot to create the depth. And that is the work of the coach. It's not the work of the player, because sometimes player can forget himself. You as the coach in the sideline, you are there to be their guide, to remind them of their mistake.
Okay, let's just say, because this is the under 17, good learning process for the young guys. Talk to me about the positives. As a coach, what are the good things that you saw from this team?
The good thing I saw in these teams that, like I said, they have individual quality. Every one of them, from the goalkeeper is a ball player, the defenders, they are good on ball, but the position is just the negative. And the team itself as a whole, they are fighters. They are a team that is ready to learn. They are a team that is ready to fight for 90 minutes according to the strength of the team. And other thing I saw again, they can be able to pass the ball for three to four touches, which we did not see in the Flying Eagles team when they played their own AFCON.
Interesting.
Okay, Cecilia.
Okay. All right. Let's leave the Golden Eaglet, because as Austin has mentioned, it's developmental. So let's just give them the plus that this is the first time they're going for a big tournament like this. And hopefully, as they progress, they will understand that at a big stage, you just have to be calm at all times. All right. Let's quickly talk about the Flying Eagles. May 20th, that's when the tournament will start. We've got the list of the players for you. Coach, once we read out the names, you're going to tell us what you think this set of players can do to ensure that just maybe we can get something out of this World Cup. We've never won at the under-20 level. We've been to the finals twice, and the last time was 2005. Mikel Obi said something. It's been a long, long time that we've touched that. What they can actually do to prepare this team so well. You've already started by saying that the Flying Eagles, the way the Flying Eagles, they can't string passes together. The Golden Eaglets are better. So let's take a look at the teams that will be flying Nigeria's flag right there in Argentina. You have Nathaniel Nwosu from Water FC, John Otoblo from Mavlon FC, and Kingsley Anegboso from Giant Brillas. That's where the goalkeepers are from. So let's flip over to the defenders. There you have Augustine Unjoku from Abia Warriors, Solomon Agbalaka from Broad City, Daniel Bamiye from Yom Yom FC, Abel Oguche from Telebox, and of course we have Benjamin Fredericks from Samuel Ben, and you have Israel Domingo from FC Sports. Now move over to the forwards, the midfield. Before we go to the forwards, Daniel Daga from Dakada, Tochukwu Nnamdi from Botu Plodiv. You have Salim Lawa from Mavlon FC, Victor Eletu from AC Milan, and Ibrahim Abdullahi from Samba, Sam Silawa from Pro Sources, and Joshua John from Nasru United. And of course, the strikers, which is the forwards, Riwan Haliru from Mahania, and you also have Ibrahim Mohammed from FC Contangena, Jude Sunday, Ria Safira, Kehinde Ibrahim from 36 Lion. Of course, you have Ume Emmanuel from Bontof Plumdeep. These are the players you have for the under-20. So, Coach, we have the players right here that will be prosecuting for the Nigeria right there in Argentina. Do you think this squad has been selected by the coach can they, do the business right there in Argentina? Because we need to smile this year no matter what happens.
But I have to be honest with you, and let me go again in coach perspective. See, one thing is to have a group of players. Another thing is to bring a team, to build a team out of those groups. You can have a group of players and you don't know how to build a team out of those group of quality players. It's going to affect the team again. Coaching philosophy can improve a player or destroy that player career. So when you have a coach that cannot build a team out of 21 players that he has, even with the weakness and the strength of every individual, to build a solid team out of them, is going to affect the team. Like this team we are seeing right now, we saw it now, we read in the newspaper, we read in the internet that we have a quality players from AC Milan all over the places. But another thing is, these players, is the coach able to build a team out of these quality players he has? That is another question. For me, with this kind of player, I think Nigeria is going to do, they're going to go places in this World Cup. Let us all just support Belanda Bozo. Let us support him. Let us believe that he has learned from his mistake in AFCON, that now on this stage, he can be able to make Nigeria proud again with these qualities of player that he has in his table. So I want to just say, let's just keep looking at him and see what he's going to bring out of this player, because we have a good player now that can surprise the world.
Right, we have the players that can surprise the world. Over to you, Austin. Okay.
For me, it's still the same. It's still the same thing, that the same opinion that I have about sports at football at the developmental level. Coach, before we let you go, do we give enough attention? Because we go for competitions and we expect young persons to just win. But with your experience, you've been in Zurich, you see how they treat football at the age grade level. In Nigeria, do we give it the sort of attention that we can start demanding that each time they wear the colors of Nigeria that they must win?
But normally when you go to the football field for a match, whether you win or you lose. But the thing is, how do you lose? Do you lose in a good way or do you lose in a bad way? When a team play good football and get lost, I don't think many people will castigate those teams. But when a team play badly and they do not even win, everybody will point hand on the players and the coaches. So what I think right now is, we cannot compare the way we did our developmental system in Africa and in Europe, like you said. In Switzerland, from 8 years, you started football. And from 5 years, you started playing football. In Nigeria, 5 years, you are in the streets, running up and down, playing monkey post, small posts in your street. Until you get to 12, 13, when you're in secondary school, before you start understanding what is the basic principle of the game. But in Europe, from the 5, 6, 7, when you are 8 years already, they teach you the basic principle of the game. That is a different level between we in Africa and in Europe. But right now, we should not forget that many clubs right now have academy. We have a lot of academy now in Nigeria from the age of 12 that are playing academy. So the first thing we have to put right is to allow the coach to do their job, to select the best player from every region of Nigeria. It should not be zoning football. When we give the coach the free hand to go, if it's in Delta, you have the best player, let him take most of the players in Delta. When you have the best player in the northern side, let him go to the northern side and take the best player. But when you are dictating for him that 5 players from here, 5 players from here, it's going to affect the work of the coach, because he can have more than 5 players in one state and he cannot be able to take them because they're giving condition to take just 5 players. Those things are affecting our football right now, not like before that coach has their free hand to select their players. So today, it's not like that. That is the problem we are facing.
I agree with you. And prepare so well, because it is what you sow, you reap. Thank you so much, Coach Anthony, for your time. All the best. We'll continue to reach out to you when we need you to talk to us. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Austin. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. That's it, Coach Anthony Adedeji, speaking to us all the way from Zurich in Switzerland. Let's get on with the show. I'm sure Cecilia, our guest in the studio, has 1 or 2 things to say about this. I will say it again. If you don't prepare young people properly, stop expecting so much from them.
Simple as that. Shegun, over to you.
When it comes to the underage, you made mention of in Europe, you play under 5, under 7, under 8, under 7. But in South America, they don't do all of that. They have something very similar to us. We have the same talent development, like the same way they are. They don't really have the structure because they also have high level of poverty. What's the difference?
Are you sure about that? I've seen videos of Messi playing in an academy.
No. Don't get me wrong. They have academies too, but the average South American they have the same level of adversity. That's what I mean. They have the same. Not as if, of course, in Nigeria we have academies too for the others. Is it every player that can afford the academies? The answer is no.
Okay.
So, but we have the same level of adversity in South America, in Argentina and Brazil, just like we have too. Let's not give Jesus. At some point in time, they got into academies. True. Let's not get that out of context. But you need to understand that certain level of at the under level is not only about winning the tournament. For us, we think, oh, we must win it. Winning it is a fantastic. Is good, but the context is the fact that how do these players move from that level to a new level, to the national levels, and how can it open doors for them to play at better clubs? Basically, that's what it is.
Basically, that's what it is. All right, let's leave that and quickly move to Federation Cup. We have the fixtures ready for round of 16 for the men. Heartland and Bend Insurance will be in action against Aqua United. That's what it's looking like. We also have Sunshine Stars and, of course, EFCC. EFCC happens to be the giant killers for them to take out Aqua United. Tells you a whole lot how good they are. That game will be in about Warrior Wolves and Gombe United will also be in action in Abuja. Flip over to other games that you have. Insurance Feeders will be up against Lobby Stars in Oka. And, of course, you have Plateau United and Ingas in action in Abuja. Nasarawa United and Kwara United in Benin City. That's a tight one for all Premier League side. Ebede and Rangers International and Doma United and Edel will also be in Abuja. That's the round of 16 for the men. Let's go to the round of for the women, which is the quarter-final stage. The quarter-final stage for the women. Bayelsa Queens and Fortress ladies in action. Lakeside Queens and Edo Queens, they will be playing in Owerri. And, of course, flip over to other teams that you have there. Rivers Angels and Delta Queens. I mean, that's the one we need to watch out for. FC Robo and Nasarawa Amazons who also battle it out in Oka. That's the quarterfinals for the women, while that of the men is the round of 16. Before we wrap up the show quickly, let's just take a look at the English Premier League games for this weekend. And, of course, it's a crunch time. Leeds United and Newcastle in action. Manchester United against Wolves. Aston Villa, Tottenham, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Southampton, Fulham, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. That's games for Saturday. We have games for Sunday too. Brentford and West Ham, Everton, Manchester City, Arsenal and Brighton. So these two teams are still trying to see if they can win the title. A quick one from you, Shegun. Just in 30 seconds, wrap up. What do you expect from Arsenal and Man City this weekend? Who is losing is winning? The two of them going to win?
I think that both teams are going to win, but I think Man City is going to win by a slim goal margin. Although Everton, the Sanjay, balls in the air, we know how studious he is defensively. Same approach, but Man City is going to win by a very slim goal margin. Arsenal Brighton, I feel Arsenal going to get a result in that game. It's going to be a tough game. And then Brighton have technically been figured out. Shut down some of the athletes, Mitoma and all of that, and then probably can take them out of the game. So I think, and another game that you didn't mention that we need to look at is the Man U game and the Liverpool game. Liverpool are 1 point behind Man U, and if Man U decide to shift like wheat, then Liverpool.
Man United are not ready to have top 4. I think that's the thing. But still, let's wrap this up because we have to go.
Oh, this is a big schedule.
They're not ready to have top 4. I mean, how could you lose to West Ham, right? Losing to all the teams and draw. I'm not ready.
Yeah, tricky tie for Manchester United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I still stand by my prediction. I said Brighton will beat either Arsenal or Manchester City.
Okay.
So if Arsenal wins tomorrow, then I'll be waiting for that fixture against Manchester City. And a game between Everton and Manchester City, please, someone shouldn't be quick to call it off because Everton at the moment, they are in desperate need of points and they might just, be a shocker for Manchester City. That's the show from me right here in London. Austin Okonakpan. And in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, Shegun, it's nice to have you again.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on the show, and then hopefully by next week, by God's grace, we'll meet again.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great weekend.